My bad, G. Day 2 of the 2024 VGC Pokemon World Championships has just wrapped up, and let's talk about what happened today. First things first, I'm going to start off with this because honestly, I blame myself. You guys right now, you're looking at a tweet from me. Wolf Glick, we'll talk about it shortly. He was the first stream game today. Wolf had a 201 stream, super clean, very, very well played by Mr. Glick, right? Unbelievable. He moves to 18-0 for Worlds, right? 9 rounds in, 2-0s every set. I make a meme, you know? Stand proud, you're strong. You know, basically talking to the rest of the format. Yeah, I just want to apologize. After I made this tweet, Wolf lost 3 straight sets and was eliminated. And we'll get into it later too, because it's a bit more than that. There was a bit of, unlucky stuff that happened. But again, we'll touch on that after we talk about the games. Yeah, real quick, let's talk about every game that happened on stream today. We'll just do a brief rundown. Then we'll talk about things like the usage stats. We'll talk about who made it, who didn't. And yeah, we'll talk about what's going to happen tomorrow because it's pretty exciting. So to start off day 2, our stream game was Wolf Glick versus Hirofumi Kimura. 2 of the best players in the world. Hirofumi is one of the best Japanese players in the world. Of course, Wolf Glick is one of the best Western players in the world. And look, I'm not going to lie. This was absolute perfection. Shortly after this video, hopefully my analysis of this game will be up. Me covering the game live on stream should hopefully be up live for you guys to watch. But this was, honestly, this was just fantastic by Wolf. His Rillaboom in game 1, he basically terrified it. It essentially felt like he's restricted in this game. It did so much damage. It took so many kills. He made like an absolute god tier read. I think like he grassy glided the Raging Bolt as it pivoted into the Focus Sash Incin and into the Focus Sash Urshifu, and the Urshifu Sash had been broken. So it's like a full HP Rillaboom pivots out, and he just grassy glides it, frags it, and then because of that, he was able to drop like a big attack into the other one. I think he like close combated whatever was next to it or something along those lines. But yeah, it was, look, incredibly good by Wolf. He completely outplayed and outpositioned Hirofumi. And after I watched this game, I was seriously sitting here thinking, dude, Wolf Glick's about to win. Like, he's about to win this whole World Championship. I made that meme because he looks so friggin' good in this series. It didn't look like he could lose. Like, he was that nice. Wolf was... He was out of his mind. Again, go watch the game. I can tell you about what happened. This is a set you have to go watch. So Diego versus Antonio was another pretty good set. This was a 3-game series. Antonio did end up losing it, 2-1. Diego absolutely pulled it out. Diego's a guy we'll cover as well. He had a very, very good run. Absolutely wild team. We covered it yesterday. He's running Protect on 1 Pokemon on this team. Ursaluna is the only one with Protect, so a very, very hard for offensive team. And honestly, it was pretty hard for Antonio to deal with. Essentially, what happened was game 1, he crit the Ivy Cudgel into Diego's Ogerpon. That allowed him to get massive damage into the Calyrex Ice Rider. Cali was able to set up Trick Room, but it had taken just too much damage. Was basically unable to play the game. Game 2 and 3, it was just not the case. He basically wasn't able to, remove the redirection. I think game 2, he went with the Ogerpon. Game 3, he went with the Indeedee. And yeah, it just got to a point where, he redirected, he set up Trick Room, and eventually sweep through. It was just Ursaluna and Calyrex Ice Rider being way too powerful. I'm pretty sure he, caught the Rillaboom on a switch with Facade. It was just massive damage. It was honestly one of those things where, I feel pretty confident to say, if the Ivy Cudgel doesn't crit, Diego gets him out of there pretty quickly 2-0. But yeah, again, Diego had a fantastic run. We'll talk about him later in the video. But yeah, this was another great set, and just Diego's team building, dude, this man's crazy. I'm not going to lie. He is so offensive in the way he plays. No Protect is insane, but obviously, it ended up working out for him. And I'm pretty sure he used the Indeedee pretty well as well to block out the Thunderclaps in this set, which was, yeah, pretty good. Oh, and there was actually one thing I forgot to mention. He heal pulsed his Calyrex Ice Rider in game 3. That was a really sick play. I might quickly pull that up and we'll watch that. So we're playing this here on 2x speed. Basically, we get into an end game. This is 2-on-4. Both ones are pretty damn low here. And this was just a really, really good play by Diego, right? He comes in, he picks up the kill here onto the Giraffe. It's okay, right? It's 3-on-2 still, yeah? Cali at this stage has taken half its health. The heal pulse comes through. This basically seals the game, because at this point now, none of his mons are able to deal with this Calyrex through the Terra Dragon. And that was pretty important there, if you ask me, because now he's in a position where it's like, hey, he does have redirection here. Funny enough, the Indeedee here does not actually have an attacking move, but it does have a Rocky Helmet. And while the Indeedee does go down here, I believe, to an Ivy Cudgel crit. I've skipped to the end of the stream. Yeah, okay, start of the stream, sorry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Indeedee went down to an Ivy Cudgel crit, but it was in an endgame where he was just unable to, 1, underspeed, and then also 2, between Urshifu and Rillaboom, he could not deal the damage needed. And then I think it ended up getting to a point where the CC out of Trick Room actually did drop the Calyrex down to about 20% HP, but its Sash was broken. At that stage, it was like -2, and then because of that, the Glacial Lance was able to clean up. For the Victor Mendini versus Shiliang Tang, this set was also pretty fire. Basically, game one, the Terra Stella Urshifu basically ran through the game. It was pretty clean for Shang Tilang here. In game two, it was basically Sans Tier Storm going burr, absolutely nuking everything. But it ended up getting into an end game where the Rillaboom and the Ogerpon Rock were sitting next to each other. The Calyrex went for the Terra Normal, but then unfortunately a Power Whip plus Woodhammer in Grassy Terrain was able to kill it and clean up. There was also a really sick play here as well, where I believe the Woodhammer did one-tap the Landorus Incarnate as well. So Rillaboom picked up a lot of clutch KOs in game two, which was like super important for Victor to force it to game three. But basically, we get to game three. Shiliang switches it up. He leads his Incineroar. He goes for Terra Grass turn one and proceeds to burn Victor's entire team. I think he burnt like everything. I will say the Urshi got burnt turn one. It did get really, really scary. Because like basically what happened was Shiliang here was a Rocky Helmet. He Surging Striked into the Terra Grass, took like 50% of his health and got burnt on the same turn. And then he ended up just going on to crit so many attacks. He crit a CC, he crit an Aqua Jet, both of which, by the way, were on the Ogerpon Wellspring. The Ogerpon Grass here, which was really, really important. But it basically ended up just getting to an end game where, yeah, it kind of didn't end up mattering. He ended up just managing to clean up. And yeah, Shiliang like burning, I think it was like 2 members of the team, was just super crucial, especially getting Urshi on turn one. So that then led us into the top cut, the top 32. We had Taran Birdie versus Navit Joshi. I'm going to say this was arguably the cleanest set of the series. Oh, sorry, of the day. Navit, basically his Regieleki Landorus just ran through Taran. Taran, essentially, his only like switch in to Landorus was the Whimsicott. Newsflash, Whimsicott is not a Pokemon. It can't swap into Sans Tier Storms. Look, granted, Navit hit all these moves. It was fantastic, but yeah, this was clean. It was, he was setting up Electric Terrain for the Regieleki. The Regieleki was giving him speed control when needed. And Landorus Incarnate just ran through his team. It was really impressive. This is another set I would say, just go watch it. It's a quick set. It's a very quick 2-0. My notes literally just say Regieleki plus Landorus ran through this. Very quick 2-0. So yeah, unbelievable by Navit there. I believe he was the only Regieleki in day 2. And yeah, he managed to get it to top 16, I think minimum. He may even got top 8. I'm not too sure. He wasn't on stream. But yeah, it was honestly an incredibly impressive series. So Hyuma versus Shong here was another pretty impressive series. So essentially what happens in game one was, I believe it was a Whimsicott Miraidon lead, and it was a Terrapagos and what's it called, Fire Ogerpon lead. Basically what happened was Draco Meteor just like bopped the Ogerpon Fire. The Terrapagos decided to Calm Mind, and then because it is a Covet Cloak Whimsicott, it got encored into Calm Mind. It did not play the rest of the game. Rillaboom and Urshifu basically tried their best to pivot around. It was useless. It just got to an end game where it really didn't matter. Terrapagos did manage to swap out at one stage, but it was just too little too late. Basically, everything got chipped down. Game one was like super duper impressive by Seong here. And then basically game two, it came down to, more or less the same. The Whimsicott did have light screen as well, I should add. But yeah, game two basically came down to, I think, a double protect turn one into losing his Ogerpon to a Draco Meteor, into Terrapagos just attacking, but sorry, no, that was a lie. What happened was I think he did attack or something like that, but he got Terra Fire Ivy Cudgeled for 50% of his HP, and then he got bopped before he got to move again, or something along those lines. Maybe even he just went for the Calm Mind again. But yeah, this one was honestly just, it was really hard for Hyuma to play this one. He basically just got run through. The combination of like Miraidon, Ogerpon, and Whimsicott was just simply too much. It was honestly incredible. Again, my notes say another quick 2-0, which is crazy for a top 16 match that it was that quick. So Luca versus Chenyu was one of the GOAT matches of today, one of the GOAT sets. This is just a Miraidon mirror. One obviously here is a 2-2-2 Dozo in a sense, right? The other being just, a pretty standard Miraidon team. This one was crazy because game one and game two, I'll spoil it, this went to 3. Game one and game two, it felt like the person who got turn one wrong wins the game. Basically, what happens turn one is, turn one, he like fakes out the Miraidon who hard switched into the Tatsugiri. And then I think he went for like Volt Switch into the Dondozo Terra Grasses. He basically spams EQ. He gets to a stage where it was like, it looked like it was over. And then a crit Ivy Cudgel like saves the game. He ate one Ivy Cudgel, gets some Grassy Terrain recovery. Sorry, Leftovers recovery, not Grassy Terrain recovery. Gets Leftover recovery, and it's like, okay, yeah, there's absolutely no other way this lives it. And then it was a stage where it's just like, yeah, it's probably over. He crits the Ivy Cudgel, and Luca ends up stealing game one. We go to game two. Luca makes the sick play. He just raw Dracos the Miraidon, loses Miraidon turn one. And then basically Dozo, yeah, he like protected on the fake out. And then like Dozo comes in, you know, he clicks like, I think he order upped into the Miraidon, and then he goes down to a combination of Draco Meteor plus low kick, because Iron Feet is better than Iron Hands. And then, yeah, it was an endgame where it was a 4-on-2. It was D-Knight, Choice Bender, D-Knight, Choice Scarf, Tatu, against the World. And then basically he like pivoted out, I think he pivoted out his Iron Hands into the Whimsicott, takes the Extreme Speed, Muddy Water picks up the Miraidon, it crits the Whimsicott, didn't matter with the crit, it left him on like 20 HP. And then it gets to a stage where he then just Extreme Speeds the Whimsicott, Whimsicott goes down. I think he Muddy Water did like 50% to like the Ogerborn Hearthflame. And then basically it just cleans up. Like I actually marked it. Let's go to it. My marker says go to 70 minutes. We're actually just gonna watch this game here because this is insane. I do have it muted. But yeah, just watch this shit here, dude. So he withdraws the. Oh yeah, so Miraidon's already gone down at this stage. He goes into Tatu, right? You know, this is fantastic. We're gonna see the Draco Meteor come out. It's gonna deal massive freaking. We're just gonna skip the Omni Boost here. The EQ comes out. You know, it does a bit of damage. Did I skip the Draco? I did skip the Draco. I'm a bad person here. Hits the low kick. Yeah, basically it looks over, right? You know, you've got you know, you look at this, right? You've got the Miraidon's pretty low. The Iron Hands is pretty low. And yeah, this is where Luca just, I don't know, he just throws the game. I think he should have just sacked, in my opinion. Or if you gotta like do anything, like don't sack your Whimsicott. You need Whimsicott. Because E-Speed comes out, it does way too much damage. Muddy Water picks up Miraidon. Like, yeah, sure, he gets Focus Sash back. But the thing here as well to keep in mind is this is actually multi-scale on the D-Knight. This is not inner focus. So he can be faked out here. But again, he doesn't bring in the fake out mon, which I think he probably should have. But you're gonna see here, he can't even get off the he doesn't even have time to get off a Tailwind here because he's just gonna get E-Speeded. And yeah, he goes for the Woodhammer, right? Terrifier Woodhammer. And just, yeah, this is pretty sad, right? Because he does go for the bop into the left slot here, I believe. And just watch the damage here, dude. Watch the damage. E-Speed, bop. It's like, okay, now it's a 2-on-2, right? Tatsugiri comes out with the Muddy Water, deals massive damage. Yeah, just does 140 damage, pretty casual. Tatsu goes down. Guess what? Recoil. Recoil. And then it just gets into an endgame where Brian Hands comes out. It does its best. Now, I will say, the unfortunate thing here for Iron Hands is I'm pretty sure the Electric Train goes out here. And I think that's kind of what costs him, right? I think. Because I think he lives the first one. But, like, if he had Wild Charge here, Wild Charge would have killed originally. You see, he lives that. And then, like, look at that damage. If he had an Electric Train plus the attack boost, I think he would have killed. He was, like, one turn off killing it. But absolutely insane. I can't believe D-Knight came back from that. And then basically game 3, we could watch it. It takes a while. It was basically Terror Bug Iron Hands, like on turn 1. You know, he ended up dropping 2 Draco Meteors to pick up the Dondozo. And because I think he ended up clicking, the way he did it was like, he basically didn't hit the Dozo with Iron Hands. He like missed the attack and then was able to pick up with a Draco Meteor into like a Wild Charge, just KOing Geary without it being able to move. And then D-Knight plus Miraidon did actually get... Actually, no, we are going to look at this game. I forgot. We're going to look at this game. 7 minutes 13. I forgot. The ending of this was insane. I said go to 7:13 here. I forgot this was kind of insane. Yeah, look at this, right? So, the backstory on this game right here is Miraidon right now is -2, right? And this is Assault Vest. So, he's not locked into anything, right? He's not locked into anything. He goes for the Dazzling Gleam. Watch his HP. From 27, right? He's Terra Fairy, by the way, from 27 to 8. Now, the thing is, he had Draco Meteor up here. He could have actually Dracoed to kill the Ogerborn Hearthflame, and he didn't, because he thought, you know, obviously, Gleam would pick up this slot here, and then he'd be able to Draco to win the next turn. It lives on HP. Drain Punches gets out of range again, and at that stage, it was just GG. This was insane. I think Chenyu actually had this game sealed. Because I was in the same boat. We spoke about this in the game. You can go watch our thoughts on it while we were talking about it. I said to my friends, I'm like, oh yeah, this is over. Sure, it doesn't matter that that Miraidon's -2. He's Terra Fairy Gleaming and he's on 28 HP. And it fucking lived on like 9 HP. And we did the calc. It was always living. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how the fuck are you telling me that even if he's neutral attack, that's doing 40 damage to Iron Hands? Absolutely insane. But yeah, really, really good game. One of the best sets of today. It was a nail biter, honestly. It was a nail biter. Really, really good set by the boys. Yeah, unreal. So our first top 4 match of the day was Diego versus Michael Kelsch. Now for me, this one personally, this sucked because Diego plays out of Australia. I wanted him to win this event, but Michael Kelsch was probably, you know, my favorite, you know, personality player, you know, left in the event too. So seeing the two of them go at it, it was really, really sad. Obviously, Michael Kelsch here does have a naturally decent matchup with the Zamazenta. And look, it went pretty, pretty heavily in Michael's favor here. My notes literally, I've just got, where is it? Basically, what happened was turn one, Ogre Pawn, he goes for the taunt into the Zamazenta. And this basically just allowed him to go for Throat Chop plus Body Press into Kali. Yeah, he taunted on the Trick Room turn so that basically Zamazenta couldn't click Wide Guard. But the Kali had basically just taken way too much damage. It did get to an end game as well where he did manage to position Indeedee next to the Kali on the turn Rillaboom came in. And Rillaboom crit a fake out. On the turn, he clicked Heal Pulse. Now, the reason this is important, because we calced it, if he is just max HP versus the standard 116 Rillaboom, 116 Adamant, the crit potentially mattered because 5 out of the 16 rolls weren't going to kill the Kali. Again, who knows? Maybe he's, 196 Adamant. I'm not too sure. But that crit potentially mattered, which means he crit a fake out killing the Kali, which means Indeedee didn't get the heal pulse off. And if Indeedee got the heal pulse off, it becomes a bit more sketchy. Definitely wasn't like over by any means. There's a chance Zama would have just carried with body press that same turn anyway, but definitely something worth keeping in mind. Also, definitely something to keep in mind with this as well is this is where I think Diego gets punished for his lack of protect, because he was in a situation where if he had protect, he did not have to lose his Calyrex that turn. Very important to keep in mind there. But yeah, basically got to that stage and then like it got to an end game where he essentially just couldn't get through Terra Dragon, Zamazenta, because his backline was something like he had like the Kali, he had the Torkoal, he had the Indeedee, and he had the Ogre Pawn, right? And basically just he could not break Terra Dragon Zamazenta. Game 2 did get really, really close. Basically he KO'd Indeedee turn 1 with Throat Chop, which I did think was really interesting because he was obviously trying to break the sash, like he redirected the Throat Chop. But the big thing there for me was that he like didn't Terror to keep the Indeedee alive an extra turn. Because basically what happened was he Throat Chopped, he broke the sash, but then Zamazenta just did like 60% with the body press. He gets up Trick Room, and like it got to a situation where like basically, Eruption and Glacial Lance wasn't enough to kill Zamazenta, which to me was the crazy part. Terra Dragon Zamazenta lived Eruption in Sun and Glacial Lance. And then yeah, at that stage, basically he couldn't do it. It took like he ended up getting through the Zama, but it just took too long. And then basically it ended up getting into an end game where like Michael ended up getting a double protect for the last 2 terms of Trick Room. And then because of that, his Rillaboom was basically able to seal the game. It took out the Ursaluna. Zama basically just nuked the nuked out the Torkoal. And yeah, it was too much. Michael Kelch 2-0's Diego, moving on to the top 4 to play, I believe he ended up playing Utah. So we'll talk about them too shortly. So Luca versus Seong here, this basically came down to a mirror match. As you guys can see, they are essentially running the exact same team. The only difference here is Luca, I believe, had the Rapid Strike Urshifu, and Seong Jae had the Dark Urshifu. And basically, this was an incredibly fast-paced game. Both players were incredibly offensive, but Luca ends up winning the game due to the fact he was able to stagger the Tailwind. So essentially, I think it happened, Seong Jae basically set up Tailwind turn 1. Luca didn't. Luca ended up setting it on turn 2 or turn 3. I forget exactly when it happened. Basically, he ended up getting into an end game where Seong Jae was up in terms of Pokemon, but Miraidon, like with Tailwind versus the Miraidon without Tailwind, was basically just able to click Terra Fairy and run through the game. I will say Iron Feet once again came in clutch. It picked up the KO on the opposing Iron Feet. We also saw it do like 40% to a Terra Fairy Miraidon, which is absolutely insane. But yeah, low kick on Iron Hands, guys, is the source. If you play Regulation G when it comes back out next year, remember that Iron Hands low kick is the source. Then game 3, basically, that was just Seong over predicting the game. Basically, turn 1, he led with Iron Hands plus Giraffe. He then proceeded to set up the Trick Room, taking a lot of damage. And then Luca's Iron Hands ended up being the slower Iron Hand and just low kicked basically through everything. He did have to Seong had to Terra Fairy his Miraidon. Ended up getting bopped under Trick Room by Terrafire. By the Ogre Pawn. I don't think he Terrafired. But yeah, he basically set up the Trick Room, and then Luca was just the stronger team under Trick Room. He basically said, hey, you have to use your Miraidon. I'm not going to use my Miraidon until the end game. And yeah, Iron Hands plus Ogre Pawn Fire, surprisingly under Trick Room, just won the game. It was, yeah, incredibly clean. And yeah, just a really, really good set by Luca, getting his berth in the finals, representing Italy, so pretty cool. And then the final match of the day, Michael Kelch, Makelda de Besti, he ran into his old arch nemesis, Amoonguss. Anyone who doesn't know, Michael was the runner-up at Worlds last year, and Shohei Kimura's Amoonguss basically ran through him. Yeah, so essentially game 1, I believe he went Terrafire Rage Powder into sleeping the Qian Pao, and Qian Pao basically stayed asleep for the rest of the game. Now, I do think there was one major misplay in this game, and we're going to look at it. I've got on here 7 hours 55, which is completely wrong. Is that the Michael Coach versus... Did I mean 8 hours 55? Is this it here? Yeah. So this was the misplay here, I think, right? So keep in mind, they're under Trick Room at this stage of the game. And basically, he had just lost his Urshifu, right? So I really liked him sending in Fluttermane here. Because what Fluttermane does is it says to the Urshifu, hey, you have to kill me, right? You can't click, Surging Strikes into me here. So it's a free to sack your Chien-Pao who's sleeping here. Last turn of Trick Room. Michael doesn't. You can see there he's pretty mad at himself. Because obviously he called the double into Zamazenta, predicting the sack into his thing. Drops into the Focus Sash. And this is where basically Michael loses the game, right? Because had he gone Chien-Pao sacked it there, he would have dropped into the Sash. He was full HP, like max HP Fluttermane. He has the Dazzling Gleam, and then also Zamazenta's healthy enough where it's not losing the 1v1 here, right? So you Gleam, KO the left slot here. You're never dead to anything, like you're never dead to Aqua Jet, and then eventually, yeah, Zama would go on to win the game. Unfortunately, as you see here, the Chien-Pao stays asleep another turn, ends up getting sniped. Because again, I think had he actually gotten that off there, like the Sucker Punch into Body Press probably would have killed, and then it would have come down to no rain. Zama probably potentially wins that game. So that was, I think, the one misplay by Michael Koch there. I'm really curious to see his take on what happened in that game, because for me as a spectator, I thought it was so smart. I'm like, he's going into the Flutter because he has to target Flutter. We were pretty sure in chat that Zamazenta was not going down to a double up, and because of that, he had to go for the Chien-Pao. Now, I will say, had he actually swapped in Chien-Pao, he probably actually would have lost Zama if they did double it, and maybe that's what Michael was thinking. But nonetheless, it was super close. It was essentially a 50-50 there. He predicts it wrong. Now, game 2, he adjusts. He picks up a KO on Amoonguss turn 1. He Icicle crashed it with the Searching Strike. It was Terrifier. That's why he went for the Searching Strikes. Basically picks it up. And then he basically, what like really started to swing the game was the Pelipper ended up like swapping in, I believe, on a... Oh, no, sorry. I think he protected the power on a double up. And then Pelipper ate a Surging Strike, putting it into range of Sucker Punch. And he had 2 options. Sucker Punch Kali or Sucker Punch the Pelipper. He chose the Pelipper. The Pelipper hard switched into the Urshifu. And that was kind of the beginning of the end. I will say as well, there was actually one Terra Water Aqua Jet that crit the Chien-Pao. I think it mattered. I do think it mattered because it did mean he didn't get the Sucker Punch off into the Kali Shadow. I'm not entirely too sure though. And then basically, Yuta ends up clicking the first... Michael clicked the first wide guard of the game. He ended up getting into an endgame situation where he potentially could have won it. And yeah, basically, Michael clicked wide guard. He Aqua Jetted to snipe the opposing Urshifu. He won a speed tie. And then he clicked Wide Guard to save the 1 HP Urshifu from a Glacial Lance on like the last turn of Trick Room. Unfortunately, he read it. He went for the high horsepower, and then it got to a stage where Zamazenta just didn't have the source to break through the Calyrex Shadow Rider, Calyrex Ice Rider, and Yuta. Ishigaki was able to basically move on and find his place into the VGC 2024 World Championships. Now, I hope that didn't drag on too long for you guys. But anyway, we have the usage stats here. Now, one major thing you're all probably going to notice here is Incineroar did not make it in the top 3. It actually fell to the 5th most used one in the game and was almost edged out by Iron Hands, aka Iron Feet. Now, the interesting things to take away from this, for me, Rillaboom, I actually had Rillaboom coming into this tournament as the number 1 most used one. It was not the number 1, it was the number 2. Urshi Rapid was the number 1, and it wasn't even freaking close. It absolutely dominated, 61% usage, which is absolutely freaking insane. Especially with Raging Bolt being number 3, hence why I think a lot of, the Urshis right now are running the Focus Sash anyway. Definitely something worth keeping in mind. For Rigoroth, to me, also was an insane one. I can't believe it ended up being 4th, but I get it with, with basically, you look at the top 4, the other top 5 mons on that list with you. You got Aqua Jet, you have Fake Out, you have Thunderclap, you have Fake Out, you have Fake Out. These ones all have priority. Blocking priority is just a really good way to keep your restricted safe, so I completely understand it. Iron Feet also coming into the top 6 there. I was a little shocked by. I knew it was good. I definitely thought it would be top 12. I didn't think it would come that high. Chiyu and Ogapon being so close to Incin in usage is also crazy to me. Definitely worth definitely worth keeping an eye on. And then another big one here too was Ogapon Cornerstone actually got edged out by Hearthflame, which was really interesting. I did think Cornerstone would be the number 1 most used mon. Another big thing here that you can't really tell, but Tornadus' usage was really bad. I think it was like 8% on day 2, which to me again was crazy because Tornadus early in the format was everywhere. And then people just started realizing, hey, you don't really need Tailwind. Whimsicott obviously is a perfect partner for Miraidon though. And Gussie being Gussie always slips in here in the top 12. Then we have the restricted usage rates here. Definitely not surprised by the top three. Kali Shadow being number one, Kali Ice being number two, and Miraidon being number three. That was completely expected. What was not expected is their usage rates. I definitely thought they would all be a little bit higher. Zama crowned at 11% is crazy to me. Obviously, you know, Michael Kelch, you know, almost went all the way. He did get top 4 with it, which is awesome. Terapagos at 9%. Honestly, I think people playing Terapagos are throwing. I will say, in the matches we saw, Terapagos was like hard beating the Kali Shadows. That was about it. It felt like they were really fishing for Kali Shadow matchups. And when they didn't have them, they clearly didn't perform. Kyogre, definitely probably the disappointment of the day for me. We basically just saw no Kyogres do good at this event. I thought for sure we were going to see one or two. Now, when I say not good, like there were people who did, you know, get top 32 with Kyogre, I believe. But we didn't see any Kyogres in the top 8. We didn't see any, obviously. I don't know if we even saw any in the top 16. And then finally to round it out, Crydon and Groudon. Groudon edging out Lunala and Zacian was really interesting to me. I thought Zacian was the sleeper of the tournament. There was one that went super deep. I think he ended up dropping in top 8. But he went really good. And Crydon also, I believe, had a top... I think Crydon had a top 16. I don't think he actually made top 8. But nonetheless, really, really cool. Now, these here are the final results for the day. Now, there are a lot of interesting things to come out of this. So, I don't want to go too crazy on all of these teams. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day. And that's something for probably after the tournament. But a big thing to notice here is in the top 8, there is not a single Calyrex Shadow Rider. Justin Knox did end up losing the final game of the round. He was the closest to us getting Kali Shadow. But there, not a single Kali Shadow in the top 8, which to me was crazy. Most used restricted, absolutely insane. Another really insane stat, there was one Incineroar in the top 8, and that was this one here, and it ended up falling in the top 8 match. So Incineroar did not make it into the top 4 of this event, which is absolutely insane to me. I couldn't believe that. Like, literally, Regieleki had, like, as good a showing as Incineroar in terms of, like, top 8 usage. Gallade and Iron Valiant, who are, like, 2 wild picks to me. Like, Iron Valiant's in the finals, by the way, guys. Iron Valiant might be a world champion, surely. Or Gallade's about to be a world champion. One of them's about to be a world champion, which is absolutely insane. Sorry, that's wrong. Diego didn't win, right? No. I'm lying to you. Gallade here. Sorry, Iron Valiant here, and he's playing... Who is he playing? Oh, yeah, he's playing this team here, dude. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm an idiot. So, he almost got it. We were talking about it. I think we said if Diego had won, there would have been them two battling. I'm an idiot. Luca's in the finals, not the Gallade. I'm an idiot. Sorry. But yeah, that's basically our finals matchup as well. Definitely worth something probably looking at here. I might actually just pull up their teams as well. We can have a quick preview of the finals matchup before we head off for the day. But yeah, they were the two major takeaways for me. We did see Weezing Dozo almost making top 8 was, you know, kind of crazy as well. You know, some cool teams here. You know, we see a Lardy here, you know, rocking with the Zama getting a top 16. There was actually one Kyogre in the top 16. I do apologize, Oliver. I did not see you actually made top 16. My bad. One of the ones that really hurt too, and this goes back to what we were saying at the start, and we'll definitely talk about it shortly. Shohei Kimura, Wolf Glick did not make it through top 32. Now, Wolf Glick's is really unfortunate, right? Because you guys can see here, basically, Wolfie, you know, win, all the way up to here, round 9-0, LLL. Now, we did not get to see the Marco set. We did not get to see the Diego set. This comes into one of my biggest issues with the game, and it's definitely something I'll be talking about later this week, and that is the lack of spectator mode fucking pains me. Don't get me wrong, right? I streamed the game today. I had a lot of fun streaming, you know, watching it with the boys. But the fact that, like, there was so much downtime, and that's something as well, I'm actually just going to use this as my example. Let's have a look, right? Let's just go here. Let's just find a random game here. Random game. Okay, so this game here, when did you finish? You finished, like, right here, it looks like, right? So you guys can see this, right? 3 hours, 33 minutes in is roughly when this game finishes, right? Maybe, we'll say 3:35 just to be safe. When do you think the next game starts? An hour. I had an hour wait. And there was games running. It was probably because I think this set was no, this was actually a 3-game set. Yeah, there was other games like that went for ages after this stream. Like, you need a spectator mode in this game. I'm sorry, you need a spectator mode in this game. I would have loved to have followed Wolf's whole fucking journey today. Like, to me, that would have been really good. Like, you can follow Wolf. You know, the second Wolf's game finishes, I'm gonna go watch like Shohei Kimura. But yeah, so that was really, really frustrating to me. That obviously we basically didn't get to see Wolf's at the end of the day. Apparently, people in the crowd did say the Killian set was, like, really, really good. It was very, very tight. Apparently, the crowd got very happy when Wolf lost his Calyrex in Game 3, which is kind of sad, is what it is. But basically, one of the issues too here, Wolf went 9-0 into making no money out of this event. Granted, obviously, he fell in top 32. I think this is really telling us top 32 needs money. It actually really frustrates me that Wolf didn't get any money out of this. And it's not that Wolf needs money. You know, I'm sure it's not that Wolf... I mean, Wolf deserves it for the run he had. But it's more the other people in that cut, right? Like, obviously, Wolf is... I'm sure he's financially completely fine, right? He is one of the few people that him coming to this event is going to make him money. He's going to make a YouTube video that's going to get millions of views, and I guarantee you it's going to pay more than the couple of $1,000 he pays to go to this event. But still, getting top 32, making top cut, and not getting any money, at least at the World Championships, to me is really, really rough. But the thing here, now, I don't know if I can actually show this anymore, sadly. I can't pick the round, can I? Nah. Basically, Wolf ended up missing out on resistance. And I'll use Michael Kelch as our example here. So, the way resistance works, right, and again, this is one of the really shitty things, right, is if you get a round 1 bye, because a lot of people said coming into this tournament, round 1 buys weren't going to be that important, but if you get a round 1 bye, it counts as a 100% player. That person has not lost. I think it counts as just a 1-0 on your record, and that's all it is. Wolf's round 1 opponent goes 1-4, right? No offense to this guy, you know, it's the World Championship. He made it to the Worlds, you know, he just didn't have a great run. Michael Kelch gets a bye. Michael Kelch had 2 buys at this event, right? Michael Kelch's round 1 bye gave him a round 32 bye, right? Again, I'm not trying to pick on Michael Kelch here. Fantastic player, unbelievable player. Really, really good player. But I'm saying, like, this is the issue I have, right? Because this bye, it's like, you know, I don't want to say it saves Michael. Obviously, Michael ended up going on to beat Killian, who Wolf lost to. But we see this bye here. And then Wolf has to play, and it ends Wolf's run. You know, it's sad. You know, it is what it is. I get it. Wolf finishing 9 at that, like, out of the, you know, going into top cut sucks for him. He was the guy who basically, you know, got screwed over the most by it. But, you know, it is what it is. Sucks to be, you know, sucks to be Wolf, I guess. You know, it's just rough, man. It's just rough. But yeah, outside of that, you know, Shohei Kimura, the defending world champion, also fell in the top 32 as well. Grant, I thought he made top 16. Unfortunately, he dropped in the top 9. Sorry, he dropped in the top 32. He had Zacian. I was rooting for him. Zacian and Chenyu, 2 of my goats, man. Hirofumi, obviously, we did see Hirofumi lose as well. Shiliang Tang also dropped, dude. There was like so many good players that dropped in this round, top 32. It was insane. Daniel Walker, my goat. Like, I spoke about it yesterday. I want to speak about it again in case people weren't here. Look at this fucking team, dude. What a goat, man. Who rocks up to a regional with this and top 30, sorry, a world championship and top 32s? This guy's out here with Expanding Force, Slow King, Assault Vest, Terra Normal, Boom Wheezing, dude. You're my goat, Daniel Walker. Dude, if Daniel Walker had made top 16, fuck me. And again, this is so, I would love to have followed his run. I would have loved to have watched Daniel Walker's run the entire freaking day. It was super cool. Anyway, to wrap us up here, we do have the World Championship preview for tomorrow. As I said, this is Yuta Gashi's team. You can kind of see his name on the side there. This is going to be really, really interesting because I would normally say if you don't have Rillaboom and you are playing the Cali Ice, you probably have a bad matchup into Miraidon, right? Pelipper is obviously really, really bad into the matchup. Landorus is fantastic, but Scarf Landorus does not want to be under Trick Room. Amoonguss obviously can't put anything to sleep. Urshifu Rapid Strike, while it can deal a bit of damage with CC, again, you're talking about, you know, an electric restricted. A lot of these Pokemon do not like to deal with, you know, with the Miraidon. But I think what could be the deciding piece is this guy right here, the Iron Valiant. Who would have freaking thought that the Mon that is probably here to really help into Miraidon it's here. Spirit Break, right? Thanks to Booster Energy and Quirk Drive, it's going to outspeed it, it's going to Spirit Break it, it's going to slow down its ability to run through the game. And thanks to like Wide God and Donkor, it can really, like, really disturb him. So this is going to be really, really cool. I definitely would say between Iron Valiant and Landorus, this is probably not going to be a Trick Room match. I do think that he's going to try to match Luca, you know, outside of Trick Room. But in saying that, obviously, Iron Feet is here. This low kick is going to absolutely frag if it gets set up. Obviously, we have the Urshi Rapid here as well to help deal with the Landorus Incarnate. Whimsicott, you know, is also there for the speed control if Tailwind doesn't get set up. Miraidon is going to be the big key factor in this game. I will also say, too, a big one here is Terra Ghost on the Landorus, not Terra Poison. Terra Poison in this matchup is incredibly good because obviously it allows you to resist the Dazzling Gleams coming out. And it basically means you can just sit on the board and deal a lot of damage. So, yeah, this is going to be a really exciting match. I'm incredibly excited for it. I am hoping I get to stream it. So check me out if you want to. Hopefully I'll be live streaming this tomorrow. I'm meant to be going to work, but you know, your boy might call in sick. Don't tell the boss. But yeah, look, this is gonna be a super exciting set. I'm betting on Miraidon. I said it from the beginning. I think Miraidon wins Worlds this year. And funny enough, I literally said almost this exact team was gonna win. The only difference was in the video when I spoke about the team that was gonna win. I think I had Chenyu in the Ogerpon Herflame slot. And then I think I had either Urshi Dark or Blood Moon in the Rapid slot. I forget exactly what I had, but I did essentially say this core of 4 would win the World Championship. So I'm betting on it, dude. I hope it happens. And yeah, it's going to be super exciting. But of course, guys, that's going to be it for this one. Let me know down below what you guys think of the video. Obviously, you know, Day 2 of Worlds is wrapped up. Whoopi VGC sadly is out. 07's for the GOAT. And yeah, it's going to be it for this one. Catch you in the next one.